Welcome everyone to today's episode of the Libertarian Viewpoint. In this segment, we're gonna present the article suggested by Henrique Davi, written by Penadinho, reviewed by Marco Batalha and narrated by Ariel Barcelo. Governments have crippled the world's economies. Revolution may soon follow. An article recently published on the Mises Institute website brings attention to the story of the world's economic situation in 2020. The start of the year saw production greatly expanding, unemployment rates declining, and stock exchanges reaching record highs. However, the coronavirus outbreak dramatically changed the game, more specifically with imposed lockdowns, leading to a breakdown of the world's economy. That obviously led to the fear of another massive economic crisis, with people recalling back to the 2008 episode when the whole credit pyramid was about to collapse. History repeats itself, with borrowers unable to service their debt and central banks quickly turning on the printers to inject money into the financial sector as well as in people's accounts held by banks. If you have ever played Monopoly, you know how this works. The closer you are to the bank, the better your chances are of being helped with some extra cash in very convenient moments, if you know what I mean. In times of economic expansion, people don't bother to protest against the pseudo-capitalist system we live in because they see their slice of the cake increasing to some extent. However, with diminished production and greater money supply, the outcome is very simple: rise in the prices of goods and services. This, combined with unemployment, makes people rebel against the system and argue that capitalism favors the rich and the poor become even poorer. But the real question here is, can you really determine and choose which character you're going to be in a crisis like that? When playing the game of Monopoly and unbacked colorful paper money run by governments, you are left with the deterministic fate of watching your wealth decrease right in front of you. This happens because of the Cantillon effect, which states that whenever a group receives the newly printed money before everybody else, that group is able to temporarily spend that money on goods and services being sold at unchanged prices. As time goes by, prices increase and adjust due to the law of supply and demand, and the groups that did not receive the newly printed money end up with less buying power. That's how those who are not close to the government lose money. Banks receive the money first and spend it before the rest of the population. To counter that, one could say, if the government is printing more money, I can just start using another currency and suffer less from this. Unfortunately, this is not possible due to the Legal Tender Act. The government makes you use the currency they issue in their territory. Contracts are forced to be written in terms of the colorful paper money. You cannot use any other currency because it is against the law. That way, you're trapped into the system, forced to use a currency that does not serve your needs. This is the real reason that countries issue their currency, to control money supply. Why do you think Zimbabwe has created their own currency instead of using older, more established and valued currencies, like the US dollar or the British pound? It is simply to control the money supply. This is why we do not live in a true capitalist system. Most countries have a pseudo-capitalist system where we have some sense of market freedom, but not total freedom because of all the regulations imposed by governments, killing the competition between companies and services. True capitalism means no market regulations. In a true capitalist system, even currencies would be competing, as they have already done in almost the entire human history. With competition, the bad currencies would see their perceived value decrease, as people do not want them, just like any other failed product. In a true capitalist system, the term minimum wage would lose its value, as people could agree on working for a very short period of time, like a part-time job for a small salary. In the current system, this is impossible. If you want to be hired by a company to do a job that is worth less than a minimum wage, you would not be employed, because doing it simply isn't profitable for the company, as it is forced to pay you the minimum wage. In a society of private laws, the determinism problem is decreased, as people are not forced to participate in the scam of money printing. A great way of going around this problem is using cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. governments have no power over them, they cannot print cryptocurrencies. This way, you can quit the monopoly game and preserve your money, especially during money printing seasons that take place when crises break out. Each one of us, if he moves to Venezuela for example, would start using cryptocurrencies within a month or two, because the national currency keeps losing its value. In places like that, where people suffer from extreme inflation, they quickly start using other currencies, as seen in Argentina with the blue dollar as well. The paradox is that on wealthy country, people overlook the government devaluating their currency because it just does not get as bad as the situation in Venezuela. The bottom line is, as long as people stay in the monopoly game that governments force them to play, they will suffer with this next crisis and with every crisis after that. So, have you considered buying Bitcoin? That's it, folks. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to give your thumbs up and share it. Subscribe to the channel and click on the bell to be notified of new videos. See you soon in the following episodes.